It all started 1 month ago. I was packing for my summer holiday. Socks, underwear, shorts, long trouser in case the weather was bad, t-shirts, shirts, a thick and a thin sweater, a jacket, swimming suit, everything. I had everything packed and I was ready for my holiday. I just had to do some administrative stuff, like getting some money, taking my passport, and printing my boarding tickets. And at that moment, I realized I made a huge mistake. I booked with Ryanair! Low fares, small luggage. Where was I going to put all my stuff? I had so much stuff. What will I do with it? Dear Toastmasters, distinguished guests, stuff will be the topic of my speech. In fact, my problem started when I just graduated. If you're still studying, do not graduate. I was living in an apartment, and in order to reduce the costs, I decided, okay, let's share the apartment with another couple. They were two, I was one, so I said, you can take this huge ballroom, and I will take the storage room, more like a walk-in closet. But okay, I put stuff in the right corner, I put stuff in the left corner, I put stuff on top of the cupboard, I put stuff under the cupboard, I put stuff under the bed, I put stuff everywhere in the room. But at least everything fitted in, so I was safe. And then I went home, and my mother said, Tim, I bought you something. I think you need this stuff. No more stuff. What the hell do I need to do with all this stuff, and where should I put all this stuff? I had a problem. Luckily, there was still the living room. So I started putting stuff in the living room. The couple also started putting stuff all over in the living room. And the main problem actually was that their stuff was shit. And my shit was stuff. So I said, no, this has to stop. I know what I will do. Instead of my small apartment, I will buy a bigger apartment for my own, so I can put my stuff all over the place and I can arrange it like I want. I already knew, okay, within 5 years I will need to move again because I will have more stuff and more cars and maybe kids and a wife with more stuff. But okay, that's life, so let's buy this apartment. I moved everything into the apartment, arranged my books alphabetically, my clothes depending on the color they had, and all the other stuff depending on the size. Everything was very well organized. And then I started to feel a bit scared. I knew something was missing. And I found out what? An insurance for my stuff! Exactly! I needed to insure my stuff for damage I would do to my own stuff, for damage my friends would do to my stuff, for damage my cat would do, even though I do not have a cat, to my stuff, for fire, for lightning, for flood, even though I live on the 2nd floor. I did take an insurance and I thought, okay, now all my problems are over. Yeah, Just some weeks later, my girlfriend came to me and said, Tim, next year I want to study in the Netherlands, so you'll have to visit me. Oh no, I have to move part of my stuff. And so I did. The first time I went, 2 hours and a half on the train. Let's take this book. But if I do not like this book, let's take this book as well. But if I don't feel like reading, I should take my iPad as well. And maybe if I want to work, yeah, let's take the computer. And my socks, and my underwear, and my shorts, and my long trousers in case the weather is bad, and my sweater, and my shirts. I was fully packed. Big backpack, trolley, up to the Netherlands. 2 days later I found out I did not use half of the stuff I took with me. But okay, that's life, I guess. And I thought moving stuff is the worst thing there is in life. This summer, my girlfriend came to live with me for 2 months. And I had to remove part of my stuff so her shit could fit in. But yeah, you are a loving friend, so you do. Now, I would like to conclude this just by saying that yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it is the change in our environment. It is the fact that we are getting more digital. And just some weeks ago, I found the perfect thing for me. I found an application on the internet to make an inventory of all your stuff. And do you know how it's called?
Stuff.
It's called My Stuff.